You see the truth behind the veil, and you know that they're just looking for attention. Oh, you don't let the ruthlessness prevail. Oh, it's time to light your fire for ascension. Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire, you transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire, you transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes.
Shine bright up all night, we're never slowing down. Fall in love, drunk mistakes, we're bound to hit the ground. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. Young blood made of gold, a mind you can't control. Running wild, can't come down. My head is in the clouds. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. And for a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Today is May 10th, 2024. It is 8:17 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Appreciate you all for being here. Thank you so much for your time, really. Today, we are going to be speaking about Michael, affectionately known as Monkey, Joseph Vaughn, who is out of Fruitland, Idaho. We have covered this case from nearly the beginning. And Michael is a 5-year old, a 6-year-old boy that went missing out of Fruitland, Idaho. Um, he was playing in his neighborhood and he was abducted. He is one of the rare cases of a stranger or a non-familiar abduction. And there hasn't been a lot of creators really putting anything out on Michael recently. That's because and there hasn't been anything, but I want to keep his name out here because we have 4 suspects that we know their names. We have spoken to one of them that has been on this channel, Stacy Wandra. He is incarcerated again right now, and we're going to go over some of his interview. But the suspects are Sarah Wandra, Stacey Wandra, Brandon Shirtliff from Kuna, Idaho, and Adrian Lucien from Toledo, Ohio. But he kind of goes all over the place. He'll go to California, he'll be in DC a while, and he just kind of travels all throughout. Police Chief J.D. Huff named these 4 as suspects. Michael Vaughn is the wife still locked up? Yes. Yep, still locked up. Um, so what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, Police Chief J.D. Huff, a couple years ago now, they got a tip from someone that was inside the home and that Michael Joseph Vaughn had been buried in the backyard. They tore up the backyard and they did not find Michael, but cadaver dogs did hit, and they have beliefs based upon evidence that Michael was buried in the backyard of the Wandra home. The home belonged to Sarah's parents, but Sarah and Stacy lived there. And they owned a taxi business. And that taxi business, they brought people in from homeless people, just, people living on the fringes of society who they would have them do, they would work for them or whatever. They also had like this little oil and lube business for a minute, and they just did a bunch of stuff. Did Stacy go back to jail? Yes, Stacy is back in jail, and that is where Stacy belongs. There is 2 currently that is out of jail, and that is Brandon Shirtliff from Kuna, Idaho. Brandon, you belong in jail. And Adrian, you belong in jail. Two are in jail. They are not related to Michael Monkey Vaughn's case at this point, but they belong in jail. All four of them belong in jail for a long ass time. A long, long time. Because they have all been named suspects. Um, you know what? I didn't pull this up, but let me pull this up. And we will go over that interview. I should have pulled this up earlier, but Michael bear with me, y'all. This is a case that I am extraordinarily passionate about. I know Brandy. I speak with her often, and she's just the sweetest person you could ever meet. And she just struggles. It's been nearly 3 years. It'll be 3 years in July. And there is still no charges, and the police have laid this on the prosecutor's desk, and it's time to execute this. It is absolutely time to get with the program. And Justin, can we please have a moment for Vicky Heels in the Air? Sure. Sure, absolutely. Let me find my button here. All right, let's have a moment of silence. All right, thank you so much. Brandon had court yesterday. I did not know that. I see you. Do you know the outcomings of that? Of course, Princess. Hello, Ida. Good to see you. Good to see you. So we're going to be talking about the Michael Monkey Vaughn case. And yeah, Chris had court yesterday too. Have no idea how that came about. Okay, I see you will let us know here shortly. Listen, Stacy Wandra told what happened, or at least that he was in jail at the time. And he had told them that Michael's remains were in the backyard. Now he says, oh, he was pressured and he did this and he did that. He was not pressured to do anything, to say anything. He's full of it. He is a lying psychopath. Hey, Brandy, good to see you, sweetheart. Thank you for being here. All right, here we go.
To our media partners, thanks for being here. And thank you for the continued coverage of the Michael Vaughn case. I also wanted to begin by just giving my sincere thanks to all the law enforcement agencies, local businesses, and members of the public who helped us over the course of the last year and a half of this intense investigation. More recently, during the last 3 weeks, we could not have completed the work necessary without the selfless help of others. The community support has been absolutely incredible. As you know, from the time Michael went missing, this has been an all hands on deck investigation, and it remains very active and an ongoing.
It's hard to see, but Chris McDonough from the interview room is behind JD Huff here. And these are a lot of the main people that has been
Investigation.
on this case.
You can't take one of our most precious citizens from us and ever expect us to stop.
I swear I want to get that quote like tattooed on my body. That makes me want to cry every time I hear JD Huff say that. You can't take one of our most precious citizens away from us and expect us to stop. That always gets me.
During the course of this investigation to date, we received credible information that the remains of Michael Vaghan could be found in the backyard at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland.
Oh, Brandy will say Brandy Neal. Sorry.
As a result, the Fruitland Police Department obtained a search warrant for the residence along with the front and backyards. That search warrant was served on November 11th. It was a Friday. We served that late in the evening. Upon entry, officers encountered Sarah Wandra, one of the known
Listen to this.
occupants of the home, and Sarah was subsequently arrested based on probable cause that she had knowledge of Michael's death and failed to report that death to law enforcement.
You know what Sarah said as soon as they walked in there? They didn't even have to ask her anything. It was, oh my God, the Lord told me that Stacy did it, and he's in the backyard and this and this and that. The Lord told her. Well, it's so funny, not funny, but it's so interesting how the Lord told her that Michael was in the backyard when they showed up at the house. And it's so interesting that Stacy said that Michael was in the backyard and that's why they were there. Boy, that's interesting, isn't it? But yet Stacy, poor Stacy, and said that they pressured him. They didn't pressure him to do nothing. You knew, Stacy, because you are absolutely involved.
The following day, the Fruitland Police Department, joined by the Idaho State Police, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, the Fruitland Fire Department, and the Fruitland Public Works Department, began a very methodical excavation of the backyard of the Wanderer's home. During that excavation process, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, Mountain States detection dogs deployed multiple certified human remains detection dogs on the property, all of them alerting to the presence of human remains. Ground penetration.
All of them. All, A-L-L, all of the dogs hit that there was human remains. Now, Michael was obviously moved from that location. I believe Michael was moved from that location after Stacy went to jail. And I think Stacy told them because he thought he was going to get the deal because he honestly did. He tried to tell them where Michael was, but when they didn't find him, you know, he wasn't there. But so you can't really make a deal if he's not there. So I believe Stacy probably doesn't know where Michael is at this point, but I do believe Sarah and Brandon and Adrian know. At least at the very minimum, in my opinion, Sarah and Brandon. Hey, Brandy, baby. This was the only press conference. Law enforcement asked us to stay home and be surrounded by family and friends. Every other press conference, Brandy, Tyler, and the Vaughn family have been shoulder to shoulder with from the beginning.
Trading radar was also used and deployed, detecting anomalies in the backyard. We completed the excavation of the entire backyard and removed over 250 yards of dirt. Prior to backfilling the yard, the dirt was meticulously sifted for any potential human remains. We did not find Michael's remains. Although the remains of Michael Vaughn were not recovered, we strongly believe, based on evidence, that Michael was abducted and is deceased. And
Based on what? Evidence. Based on evidence. Not that they think, but based upon evidence.
that his remains were buried and later moved from the property.
And that's why Sarah, Brandon, tell where Michael is. Get this off of your soul. Give the family their son back. Even if he's not given back in the way he left. On July 27, 2021. Give him back. Make it as right with God as you possibly can. They need their son back.
As of today, the whereabouts of his remains are unknown. However, the investigation is active, fluid, and ongoing. Once the excavation was complete, we conducted a thorough search of the Wanderer's residence. The search was productive, and additional investigative evidence was recovered and is currently being processed. Evidence suggests that there are the following individuals who are currently in custody are involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughn. This is Sarah Wanderer, 35 years old. Sarah lives at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Sarah has firsthand knowledge and is involved in Michael's abduction. Sarah Wanderer is currently being held at the Payette County Jail for failing to report a death to law enforcement.
That's Sarah. That's when they went to... Yeah, she might be on a different channel. then you guys, so you might not see Brandy, but she's here. This is Sarah Wandra. This is the one when they knocked on her door that she said, the Lord God told me that my husband did this. She is evil. She's evil. And in my opinion, she is the one that led these three men to do this. She is an evil witch mastermind that manipulated they're absolutely responsible for their choices, and they're absolutely responsible for what they have done. But she is the one that is the most manipulating, cunning, satanic witch of a human being, most deceiving human being you could ever imagine.
This is Sarah's husband, Stacy Wandra, 30 years old, a male. Stacy was also living at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Stacy has firsthand knowledge and is involved in the abduction of Michael Vaghan. Stacy's currently being held in the Washington County Jail on unrelated charges.
So Stacy and Sarah are married. Stacy and Sarah have a history that is very colorful, to say the least. And Sarah was obviously married to Stacy, but she was also being with the men in her home.
Now, the next individuals I'm going to introduce you to, let's go at the bottom there. This is Brandon Shirtliff, 30 years old, of Kuna, Idaho. Brandon was living with Sarah and Stacy Wandra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance. And we believe
Brandon, you have knowledge. You have a lot of knowledge, Brandon, don't you? Don't you, Brandon? You took Michael to your mother's house the night he was abducted. You took that boy to your mother's house. She was out of town. You were not supposed to be there. And then some hours later, after he was abducted, and you took him to your mother's house for at least the night, you guys were right back in Kuna just hours later. Within 8 hours, you were back in Kuna. Brandon knows. Brandon absolutely knows where Michael is. Brandon's too much of a coward to answer the phone. He thinks by not talking about it, this is going to go away. It's not. This is on the prosecutor's desk. And just be ready for charges to be handed down. Mommy cannot save you from this one, Brandon. that you got yourself involved because of what? What made you do this? Now, out of all of them, Brandon probably had the most normal childhood. I would say he had the most normal childhood. Adrian Lucien, he comes from a good family as well. Adrian Lucien is much different, much different than his family. Much different. But Brandon knows better. And he has his family convinced that little Brandon would never do something like this. And I think, I can understand them being like, he would never do something like this. But sometimes when it's who you're around, things change. And Brandon, you are absolutely involved.
Brandon has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction. Brandon is currently believed to be in North Dakota.
Yes, Brandon does have kids. A kid.
Adrian Lucien, 32-year-old male out of Toledo, Ohio. Adrian was staying with Sarah and Stacy Wander at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance. And we believe that Adrian has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction.
This is Adrian Lucien. His family is originally from Ohio. Brandon comes from a good family, a rather good family. His sister, you would not believe who his sister is. She is a gorgeous, rather famous person. And she lives a completely different lifestyle than her brother. He is more of a vagabond, just surfing wherever he can go. The last time I checked, Adrian was in DC at a facility. It's kind of like a halfway house, living there. Just a completely different lifestyle than the rest of his family lives. I believe Adrian's mother died a few years back.
Adrian's currently believed to be in Toledo, but floats between Ohio and California. I strongly encourage Shurtleff and Lucien to contact the Fruitland Police Department detectives as the window of time for talking and cooperation is coming to a close. This remains an active and ongoing investigation, with conversations taking place with the Payette County Prosecutor's Office about Michael's case and those individuals involved. We also believe that there are others associated with the Wanderers, Shurtleff and Lucien, who may have knowledge of Michael's abduction, and I would strongly encourage them to come forward and speak with my detectives. When we finally reach the conclusion of this investigation, and I can assure you that we will, All of those who have knowledge of Michael's disappearance and have failed to report or hindered our investigation will be pursued. There's a moment in time to do the right.
Okay, my StreamYard was screwing up. I apologize. We're going on 3 weeks. And listen, the day is coming. The day is coming for these 4. And when the trials start, I'll be right there in Idaho with Brandy. This mother has stayed entirely strong when I know she feels so weak. She's got other kids. Brandy does. She's got a family. And she still works and has worked the entire 3 years to provide for her family. She hasn't asked for a red cent from anyone. She just wants her son home. And there are 2, 3, maybe 4 people that knows. Can you imagine your 5-year-old child is abducted and you have to go through this shit for 3 years? And just down the street, these people did this to your son, your child. And they have you right here, right here. And they know where your son is. They know where he is. But they won't say, for their own selfish, sick, sadistic reasons. Because they did the crime, but they don't want to do the time. So the Vaughn family, Brandy, Tyler, the kids, have to wait. It's not going to pay off well for the 4 in the end. They would have just admitted it. It would have been a lot easier on them and the Vaughn family. Brandy is one of the most strongest human beings I've ever seen. I don't know how she does it. I really don't. You know, I always think about the sleepless night. She still sleeps on the couch waiting for her son to come home. You can't get the Proudfoots to even tack up a missing flyer for their son. Can't get the Wells to do a damn thing. The only thing you can get those 2 families to do is talk about their innocence, not about their child, or do anything. But then after a sleepless night, Brandy gets the kids up, packs them their lunch, gets them off to school. She's still exhausted. And then she goes to work. Another day. And it's been 3 years.
Wow. To date, the Fruitland Police Department has received over 1,500 tips and leads, and we received many new leads since this phase of the investigation has began. We continue to ask our community for support and patience as we continue to aggressively work this case. We also ask that the Vaughn family's privacy continue to be respected, and we'll continue to post updates as information can be shared. Tips can be sent to findmichael@fruitland.org or to Crime Stoppers at 343cops.com or the Fruitland Police Department at 208-452-3110. Tipsters can remain anonymous. So before I open it up for questions, I just want to make it clear that this is a very active and ongoing investigation. It's super important that we maintain the integrity of this investigation. So I'd ask you that you'd please tailor your questions accordingly. With that, I'll stand for a few questions. Alex?
Yes. Summer Wells went missing June 15th, 2021. Michael Joseph Vaughn went missing July 27th, 2021. Little over a month apart. Now, Brandy lives in a small town, right? Fruitland, Idaho. Door to door, house to house. Nice little area. And just down the street, is where the monsters lived. Michael was just doing what Michael did, being a kid, wanting to play. That's it. I don't care if a child gets out and runs 30 miles down the road. The only thing a stranger should do is get that child the help that the child needs. But there was 3 in the car. They saw Michael was alone. They pulled over and they snatched him. And they went to Kuna. They went to Brandon's mother's home. God only knows what Monkey faced that evening of July 27th, 2021. I'll be honest, I can't really think too deeply into it. It's too much. But Brandon, you certainly know. Stacy, you certainly know. And Sarah, you certainly know. Now, where does Adrian fit into this? Well, Adrian wasn't there that evening, but Adrian most likely helped Sarah bury Michael's remains in the Wandra's backyard. Michael was most likely left at Brandon's mother's house the night of July 27th, 2021. They went there to tow a car. They didn't get home till very late in the night, to the even perhaps early hour morning of 12 o'clock midnight, which would have been, anytime after midnight would have been July 28th. And then they were back at Brandon's mother's home, left at 8 or 9 o'clock. I can't remember. The next morning, while everyone in that area was looking for Michael Joseph Vaughn, 3 of them certainly knew where he was.
So if Michael's remains are not found, will Sarah have to be released, or do you think that she will remain in jail once you locate the other people that you think are involved?
It is my belief that she will remain in custody. But again, we're in talks with the Fayette County prosecutor, and those talks are ongoing as far as charging.
And it is time to get this show on the road. It's time to get this show on the road, Fayette County prosecutor. We aren't going away. Brandon, you're a coward. He is such a coward. He is such a coward. God has got Brandy and family in his hands. He certainly does. Thank you, Spirit Seeker and Candy. Now, we've got Stacy, who came on my program a while back, and he had just gotten out of jail. He did a little social media tour that he thought that people was going to pay him for interviews and all of this bullshit. And let me tell you something. He is the epitome of a sloth. Not even the sloth of an animal. That's too kind. I like sloths, animals, right? But he is the epitome of a blob fish. Thank you, Country Girl Ann. Thank you so much, my dear. Appreciate you. And so he comes on my channel and he says you know, he comes on my channel, and then he's asking. He sent me an invoice, a Cash App invoice for the fucking interview. And let me tell you something. I'm not paying you for an interview. Period. Period. I did buy him a meal. I did do that from Johnny something or something like that. It's like a barbecue place or some shit. But you're the suspect here. You should be wanting to clear the air, clear your name. But I would never pay him for this BS stuff, right? In my opinion, Stacy is intellectually disabled. He says he's got the IQ of like 60 or 70. I don't believe it's that low. He knows definitely how to manipulate. That is something that he definitely knows how to manipulate. Now, he was married to Sarah. I don't know if he still is married or whatever. Recently I got a FOIA request and I got a video of Stacy hitting a disabled man in prison, in jail rather. I showed that a while back. Yes, he believes up the. Yeah, he does. So thank you for coming on. This is, I know, been a topic of your life for sure since, July 2021. And, you've, I've saw some interviews that you've done on the news locally there. And you say you want to, be honest and clear your name. And that's great. I appreciate your time. What tell me a little bit about who Stacy is. Where did you grow up? How did you grow up? Where did all of the above? Tell me a little bit first about that.
Briefly, I was born in Merced, California.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, my biological parents are deceased. My mom died in May 2003. My
Mhm.
dad died before I was born of a drug overdose. Same with my mom. Um, I grew up. I was adopted, or my mom got guardianship of me. I guess adoption and guardianship are two different things. Can't really explain the two. I'm not sure how to, but I know that I was adopted, or had guardianship. My mom got guardianship of me that I have now. So I'm in constant communication with her every day. She supports me, the best way she can. Mentally.
I see you. Did we know Brandon's court? Did anything happen in it yesterday? I hope his milk is warm in jail. Oh, I bet you it is.
Emotionally.
And this is your bio mother?
No, biological mom died. This is
Okay.
my adopted mom.
Okay. Okay. And when did she adopt you? Like what
I
age?
was 13 months old, I believe.
Okay. Okay. So she's your mother.
Mhm. Correct.
Right.
She's all I've known my whole life.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And you was adopted. Okay.
Mhm.
Was your mom and were they related of any sort, or was this just just a different adoption? Okay. Um, do you know anything about like your real mom or anything?
I know she was a very hardcore drug addict. She was homeless a lot. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
Had different
Okay.
kids with different different dudes.
Yeah. You ever thought about doing one of those, what is it, like 23andMe's or family? You might have a lot of siblings out there you not know.
Well, I know who my siblings are, but I don't
Yeah.
know much. I don't really talk. I don't talk to them at all.
Right. Right. And how did you end up in Idaho?
Sarah,
Oh, okay.
my
Okay.
wife that I got married to,
Okay. And so when did you meet Sarah?
November of 2017.
Okay, November 2017. Um, did you meet her online?
Live links. It was a chat line.
Live links? Okay. Is that still around?
Oh yeah.
Is it? Okay. I've never heard of it, so I don't know. Is it like a dating or just a social?
Well, it's a dating. It's mainly for people go to hook up or find
Right. Okay. And
relationships or looking for love or whatever.
gotcha. Now is Stacy is always he's always trying to make money. Like he's always trying to find a way to make money. He's very ambitious. Um and he will do anything for a dollar. Is Sarah from Idaho?
We grew up in Portland.
She grew up in Portland. Okay, so her
Mhm.
family is in Portland.
Oh,
He's gotta buy the milks and the snuff.
her family. She only some of her family is in Oregon, but that's her adoptive side of the family. And then her adopted mom and dad, lived in Fruitland, Idaho. They were actually the owners of the house on Redwing Street.
Right, right. Okay, that's right. That's right. I forgot
Mhm.
about that. Okay. All right. Okay. How was school growing up? Like how
Rough.
rough? Rough. Okay. Um,
I was in
did
special ed my whole life, so
right. Okay. That's okay. And did you graduate?
I
No.
made it to 11th grade, and then I started.
Uh-oh. Oops, I think you kind
Where'd
of
you go?
there
There
we
we
go.
go.
Sorry, got a little disconnection there.
I made it to 2009, and then
He needs
I
some milk.
transferred to
He
another
needs
group.
some milk. He needs some milk. He needs some milk. He needs some milk.
He needs some milk.
And I was all over. I don't want to go into it, but
And right,
I've been to like 5 or 6 different group homes.
right. I gotcha. I gotcha. Okay. All right. So tell me about the morning of July 27th.
It was just a normal day for us. We woke up. It was Brandon, Sarah, Adrian, and I that were at the house. Woke up in the morning and got up, had breakfast, had coffee. Just we're talking, socializing. And then
Mhm.
uh, Adrian had wanted to go see his kid that was in Nampa or Boise. I'm not exactly sure.
When did Adrian come in the picture? How long was he at your
A
place?
couple of months.
A couple months? Okay. Okay. Um Now Brandon, he said that he thought Adrian was there like a week and a half or 2 weeks.
No, no.
Okay. So there's a discrepancy there.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And he flew in from California.
I don't know where he was picked up. My wife picked him up in Caldwell. He said that, my wife said that he told her that, um, or ex-wife, he should say, soon to be, told her that he was living behind a dumpster in Caldwell,
Caldwell.
Idaho. Yes.
Okay, Caldwell. Okay. Behind a dumpster. Okay. All right. Okay. Um. All right. So go ahead. Continue with the story, sir.
It's all good. Um, that morning we got up, did our routine normally.
Country and girl, thank you so much for
Breakfast,
your super
coffee,
sticker,
shit,
my
shower,
dear. I
whatever, you know
appreciate
what I
it. I
mean.
don't know if I said thank you.
Then Adrian had
And
asked Sarah to take him to Nampa or Boise, wherever it was, to go see his kid. And that
now, if you listen to Brandon did an interview with JLR. It's the infamous hot tub Coors Light interview while he is in South Dakota winter. He's sitting in a hot tub with his biological father. Um, they are completely different. They are completely different about what happened that day. He has zero emotion describing this. If I were wrongly accused of an abduction of a beautiful small child, you would at least have a sense of urgency in your voice. Absolutely. Absolutely. There is 3 cases that that really affect me, and one is Michael Vaughn, Summer Wells, and Quentin Simon. Those are the 3 that has affected. Thank you so much, Summer's Army. Thank you, my love. Appreciate it. If anyone has information about a crime that has been committed, you can call Crime Stoppers. You can always remain anonymous at 1-800-222-TIPS. Your information will be taken in strictest confidence. Absolutely.
was about 11 o'clock. They left.
Mhm.
I got a phone call from Sarah. No, that
So,
was probably 10:30, 10 o'clock, 10:30. They left. I
so
got a phone call from Sarah.
sorry. So Adrian has a kid in
I
Idaho.
think he has a couple, but
A
yeah,
couple. Okay. Okay. I need to turn this damn phone down. Go ahead.
it's okay. Sounds
All
like
right.
you're on.
Well, I gave Josh the link and I said, let me get what I need out from him first, right? And then after I get my answers, then we can hammer home a little pressure.
Scout or meet me.
No, I'm not, I promise. Okay, sorry. We'll It's be just there. loud as hell.
It's
All right,
okay.
go.
So um, Sarah took Brandon and Adrian. They all went together. I stayed home. I wasn't too fond of Adrian, just for the record. Like, I wasn't keen on him.
Mm-hmm.
And I told Sarah that when she approached me and asked if she could we could help him out with a place to live. And I'll go into that in a little bit. But
Now, out of the other 2, Brandon and Adrian wasn't there and he didn't know Stacy and Sarah as long as Brandon did. Brandon is local.
so anyway, so they went and
Sure
she
did.
took him to go see his kid. I got a phone call about 11:30 from Sarah because she was the dispatcher for our company and said that there was a taxi ride that needed to go from Ontario to Boise. I was like, okay, that's a $150 run. I'm not going to pass it up.
And what time was this?
I left. That was 11 o'clock. She called me roughly, and then I left the house about 1
Mm-hmm.
in the afternoon.
Do you have any receipts or anything of the calls, the call logs or anything
Oh
like that?
no, those phone numbers are long gone, long
Okay.
gone.
Okay.
I'm sure we did, but yeah,
Okay.
um, there's no way I can pull that.
Right. I'm sure.
I'd love to. I'd love to.
Yeah. Oops. Adrian is
No
not the one
receipts.
who went on JLR's.
No,
That
Brandon did.
that was Brandon
Mhm.
who went on JLR's. Now Adrian is currently living in DC area.
According to Brooks, yeah, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
talk to the agent. I don't want nothing to do with him, nor do I Brandon.
I've been emailing with him, so yeah. He didn't like that, so we got him now. All right,
Nice.
go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, he didn't like that I
Good.
was,
So that's literally how the day started. Sarah took Brandon and Adrian. They all went together to Nampa or Boise to go see his kid, and um, I stayed home. Got the taxi phone call. I left about 1 o'clock. I stopped at the splash pad about 1:15, 1:30 ish.
So the splash pad, all four need Old Sparky, in my opinion. I agree. I think that would be, yeah. So the splash pad is an area that the city, uh, it's a little park area of the summertime, and it's just what it sounds like. It's a splash pad where the kids can kind of play in a sprinkler kind of area, and they got swing sets, and it's a park and all that. And he has seen around this area, he says, because his snuff rolled all the way over, and he is a very large guy. Um, so he had to get out of the car. Now, this is hours before Michael goes missing. Hours. But it just makes you wonder, was he scouting out for people, for children at this time? Don't know. But it makes you wonder. Okay.
I don't know. It was in between 1:10, 1:15, 1:30 ish. I don't know exactly. It's so long ago, but um,
Nope, he didn't. Now, why did
stopped
you stop at
before.
the splash pad?
So I'm a Big Dipper.
Mhm. Thank you for showing us your encrusted lip there. Um, no, Michael was not hit by a car or anything. He was abducted. He was placed in their vehicle, driven to Kuna, and taken from the Vaughn family,
Big Dipper.
right?
I went to pull out my can of chew from my pocket.
Hmm.
It had fallen. I didn't apparently have a grip on it enough, and it fell on the passenger side, like up against the floorboard on the far side, and I couldn't reach it.
Hmm.
And I was really big at the time, like a lot bigger than what I was
Hmm.
now, what I am now. So I couldn't just reach over the console
You
to
should
grab it. So
have
I
done.
literally had to get out of the car to get it. So I did that, walked around the vehicle, opened the door, grabbed my chew, walked out, or walked back around, got in the car and left.
Okay. And that was at what time?
Give or, give or take 1:30 ish when I left.
Okay. And that was on your way to Boise,
On my way to Ontario to go
on
to Boise to pick up
Ontario
my
to Boise. Okay.
car.
How far is Ontario?
Like a 10-minute drive. You just go
Okay.
over the bridge and you're there.
Okay. And Boise's what? 30 minutes?
60 miles, about an
So
hour.
an hour, give or take. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. And who was you? Was it just, did you just do
I think
one?
so. There might have been another taxi ride, but I know that it was because the timestamps that I sent you, I'm sure you'll post them up.
Yep.
Um, there's time differences, so when I quote times on here, you guys have to forgive me because I'm not verbatim. Like I told you, I'm doing the best hypothetical guess with time. So please
Mhm.
forgive me if they're not accurate.
Okay. But a general, so general rule is what you're
Yes.
saying. Is
General, I think there was only one taxi call that day for me
okay.
from when I got back.
There were two,
There
perhaps.
might have been another one. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I know for sure there was one that was Ontario to Boise.
Did you keep any logs or anything for your
We
business?
we kept cash logs or
Right.
or payment logs, but
Now, their uh, business was called Faith Taxi because she went in this very religious type of BS that she would say that that she would just get super duper religious, but do but would also be sleeping with every man in the house.
only when people paid with card, and that was through our payment app that we
Right.
use.
Okay. Okay. Um. Did Oh God, my when StreamYard. You dropped the chew, did you get out and walk like around
Yeah,
the car?
yes,
Okay.
yes, honey,
Uh,
Elder, I did.
okay. Now, how long was you at the splash pad?
Maybe like 5 minutes tops.
5 minutes stops. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The police actually showed me a timestamp at 1:30 of me being at the splash pad. So
Okay.
that's why I'm
So
saying 1:30. I was there for sure
okay. So they have you there. All right.
on video. Yeah,
And they have you solely going around the
correct.
car,
And getting back
grabbing that
into it.
snuff, and then getting back in your car.
Correct.
Okay. Was there anyone around the splash
I
pad
think
at
there
the
was
time?
people.
Sarah and Stacy are still in jail. Yeah, doesn't take that long. Sarah and Stacy are still in jail. They are in it's solar flares messing up the internet. I don't know, but it's been horrible. The other day it just might completely shut down. Hey, Brandon slept with his wife and Stacy paid his bills. Capital L for loser. Yep. Uh which one of Justin's chats are we supposed to subscribe to? All three? I don't know what you mean. Is it solar flares? It's really bad. Justin, he said, I grabbed my stuff and walked out. I didn't even notice that.
Around, but they were in a far enough distance. I didn't approach anybody. You know what I mean? Like I literally I mean, as it was recorded by the camera,
Right.
got out and then
Lights
got
and
my shoe, went back around the car and left. That's
right.
all it was.
Okay. Did you ever stop at the splash pad often,
No,
or it was just to get your snuff? You
there's no
said
reason to go to the splash pad. I ain't got kids,
right.
so why would I want
Okay.
to be?
o-
Why would I want to do that?
Such a
That'd be kind of
douche.
weird.
Okay. Right. All right. Well, Kathy. So the detectives, and that means you need to subscribe to all three, so you'll never miss me. Justin for all. Clutch them pearls, and hey, sweetie. J for A should be back in 18 days, but who's counting? Hopefully. And the authorities, they have you on camera or a
Correct.
photo of some sort.
Correct.
Okay. And is there surveillance?
Yeah.
There obviously
There's
is
neighborhood.
somewhere.
Yeah.
But does like the splash pad have cameras
Oh,
or
thank you, Mod.
a home of some sort? I guess around there would have it. Okay. All right. Continue. Oh,
Um,
okay. You know, what were you wearing that? Do you remember what you were wearing that day?
Probably my black champion shorts that I used to have and a t-shirt, black
Oh,
t-shirt.
thank you, Kathy. Thank you. I think you meant, oh, you meant memberships. I think is what you meant. Memberships. Thank you so much. Thank you, my love. Appreciate you, Kathy. Good to see you. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, my dear. Okay.
That's what I usually wore. I was the most comfortable in.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So you're on your way to the tent, not Boise, but the other one. What's the
Ontario.
Ontario? Remember Ontario, Canada, but Ontario. That was my first mute of this evening, so I apologize. Where was I? I was going to say, they said that, I think it was, who was it? Grace. She said, my chat isn't moving. If your chat is not moving, exit out of your chat and then come back in, and it should start again. And if it doesn't, then exit out and try it again. But if you're on your phone, make sure your YouTube app is updated to the very latest. It's been happening to me. It stopped for a while after I did the last update. It quit doing that. I don't know if there's a new update needed or whatever, but muted bloopers number uno.
Ontario.
Because I'm a blonde. I know I'm not a dumb blonde because I know I'm not dumb and I know I'm not blonde. Okay.
Oregon.
Okay. Ontario, Oregon. Yeah, because you're right there on the border. That's right. Okay.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
So went and picked up the client, went to the Boise airport, dropped him off. I think I hung out with Labor Dave, if I'm not mistaken. I went and visited him at his house.
Who's Labor Dave?
He's like a temporary employment person. Always had a bunch of odd jobs for people to do. Christian based. His
Okay.
his real name is David Fears.
Piers with a P?
Fear. F as an F.
Okay. All right. And so he's some of your alibi at that point,
Mhm.
which Michael hadn't even went missing yet at this point.
No.
So, but still, I'm just saying. Okay. All right. So you how long do you hang out with David?
I don't know, a few minutes, you know what I mean? It was a good chunk of probably 15, 20, 30 minutes tops.
Okay.
It
Okay.
wasn't very long. I
I
mean,
didn't
he
even know
had
there
stuff
was
he was
solar
doing
flares
too, you
going
know,
on.
so
Do you talk to him often?
I don't talk to him anymore. From what I heard, he's deceased. So I don't know
Oh,
if that's true or
no,
not.
that's Labor Dave got the hell beat out of him. It was a big write up in the paper. It's hard to talk to someone like that for sure. All right, so you're there 30 minutes tops. Okay.
So on leaving David, I came straight home or came back to the Fruitland area. Apparently, the timestamps, I didn't remember this, but I went to Ontario again to go. I stopped at A&W,
Mm-hmm.
or sorry, yeah, A&W, which is by Kiwanis Park or whatever in Ontario. Went there, got some food, I think, and
That's interesting. He just mentioned that park that was there, Kiwani's Park. I wonder if he was seen at that park.
went back to Fruitland.
Okay, so you go from Fruitland to Ontario to Boise, back to
Ontario to home
Ontario to home. What? Now, why did you go back to Ontario?
to get some food.
Okay.
There's an A&W in Fruitland, but that was the
I used to work at an A&W. I worked there for like a month.
the direction I came back. It was
It's on the way.
it was on A&W on the way.
It was an A&W Long John Silver's combo, and the park in Payette, Idaho, right by the yes, right there behind where A&W is, where you work. It's like right behind it, right beside of it. But A&W, we had this like conveyor belt that we would put the burgers on, and it would charbroil them. Like flames would come up from the bottom and the top. It was really good. I hate root beer. I hate root beer. It's one of the worst things I can think of. I literally hate root beer. Can't take it.
But it was, you could see it from the interstate, and it was completely packed, and I didn't feel like going inside. From what I
Okay.
remember,
All right. Where is Sarah,
at home,
Adrian, and everyone at this time?
Sarah or Adrian, according to timestamps again, according to what Brooke showed on the photo, again, timing can be off. So apparently, what the timestamp it was for
Aw.
something when they took that photo.
Oh, Robin, that reminds me. I forgot we used to give these frozen glass mugs. They were so cold. I forgot about that. Aw.
A&W or the Applebee's.
Mhm.
So I was all I know is they were home when I got home.
Yeah. It looked like one of those, almost like a pizza oven, but it was flame broiled. One of those.
So
Okay. So they were, and earlier that day,
Adrian didn't come back that night. Just for the record, he stayed over in Namper.
so Adrian did not come back the night
Correct.
Michael went missing.
Correct.
Okay. Now, on July 27th, now this is Brandon's account. Brandon says he spends the night.
Yeah. He
Okay.
stayed the night a lot at our house.
Okay. All right. So you come back after you get your A&W and your ride. You did one, maybe
Mhm.
two rides.
Correct. Which I think is probably the other reason I went to Ontario too. Just putting that out there.
Say that again.
I think maybe the other reason I went to Ontario too wasn't just for food, but it was to go pick up that ride.
Okay. So another ride. Okay. Why did you guys always have a bunch of people in your house? Just curious.
It wasn't a bunch of people in the house. People make that excessive. They're literally, we had people come in sometimes who were just friends of friends or friends of ours, or I think one point in time we let Brandon bring his buddy over and his buddy's friend, but there wasn't an excessive amount of traffic like people make it.
Bullshit.
We didn't allow that in our house. We did have a heart. We did help people with a place to stay once in a while
Mhm.
who were trying to get on their feet, because that's what, as Christian believers, we, try to help people who are in need.
You did not have a heart. You had a hoe in the house, is what it was.
You know?
Forgive me, but that's exactly
So that's what we
it
did.
was. Right.
But there wasn't a huge amount of traffic like people say there was. No.
I wasn't sure if it was like cheaper labor, or something like that. I mean, you're staying at our house, can you help out cheap, or
No.
whatever, and help you get you on your feet or something like that. Okay. All right. So you come back home
hmm
and
Brandon and
what?
Sarah are on the couch.
And who's on the couch?
Brandon and Sarah.
Brandon and Sarah are on the couch together.
No, not together. They were on different couches, but they were
Okay.
both on their phones when I walked in.
Okay. They're on their phone when you walk in. Okay. Now, what else?
I was approached by Brandon and Sarah saying that, Sarah talked to me first and was like, hey, uh, Brandon wants to go get his car from CUNA.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, let's just get it over with because Brendan had been pestering us a lot about getting his car. Like, it wasn't just one time he asked, it had been probably a couple of weeks worth of asking.
He'd been harping on you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What time was this approximately?
Uh, Timestamps, again, I'm referring back to the timestamps because I literally just found them yesterday. I got back into my email account and my pictures from that year last night, literally. Thanks to Eve, who is also viewing, I believe. Um, she helped me recover that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to get into that, and that's how I got those photos that you'll pull up eventually, with the timestamp attached.
Okay.
So I'd say it's gonna sound stupid, but going back to the timestamps, I would say 6:30 or 7 is when we left.
When you left.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you leave at 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. And you guys are making a trip from Fruitland
Correct.
to
CUNA.
Cuna. How do you spell Cuna?
KUNA.
Kuna. Okay. That sounds like Hawaiian almost. Sounds
It
like,
kind of does, huh?
yeah, yeah.
I got Hawaiian.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Um, let's see here. So Fruitland, Idaho, and now he does Kuna,
Yeah.
Kuna.
45-minute drive usually. Yep.
Okay. All right. So yeah, 48 minutes. 48 minutes it says from, Jersey, if you're on your phone, do you have Android or do you have Apple?
I
And
know my miles. I know
yeah,
my destinations.
well, taxi driver, you
Mhm.
probably. So did you guys take 84?
Yes.
Okay.
84 to exit. I want to say 46 or 48. It was 10-mile road. It might have been
Okay.
42. I know it was 10-mile exit that we took.
10 exit, you mean like exit number 10? Oh, 10
No,
10
exit
mile road.
10-mile road.
Mhm.
Correct.
Gotcha.
There's
Okay.
an exit for 10-mile road. Correct.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah, because you can do I-84 east
Mm-hmm.
and then south 10-mile road,
Correct.
where it says you can do I-84 east. Guys, I'm going to fast forward this because I get a little confused here. And there's nothing really here. Here?
No. Yep. Yep. That is Idaho 16. Correct.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
We
So
absolutely.
Idaho
Okay.
16, you follow point A.
We're going to do this. Okay. Right here.
Yep.
I highlighted it. Okay.
Yep. It'll bring you around a circle.
They're going to be. And this is where
Idaho
you.
16 turns into Highway 52. Correct. And that's the route we took.
All right. Yes. Okay. All right. What is the speed that's limit here? interesting to know. Do you have an idea?
I don't know. We went slower than this.
Brandy says, by the way, that A&W off the highway coming into Fruitland is never busy. This is a few months back. I thought he is back in jail. He is back in jail.
Speed limit because you don't go fast when you're towing a vehicle. I assume like 50, 55.
Okay. And what is there stores along this way? Is it
No,
rural?
just a mountain. That's just like a straight road that takes you all the way into Payette.
Okay.
It's a old highway.
Okay. All right. And everyone, just curious, is everyone's phones on at this time?
Yes.
Everyone's phones is on, all that. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Fat Girl. The penicillin, the right, that date means edit is progress.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
I don't know what that means. Fat
That
Girl, I'm sorry.
either.
Thank you so
The
much.
right of date. Oh, pull up that picture again, the screenshot that I
Thank
sent
you,
you.
Bridget.
We'll see what
Okay.
she's talking about.
I had my notes. We learned a lot. Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, the pencil icon. No. So that was literally screenshotted from Google Maps. That was a picture that was tracking from when that timestamp was taken. There was no way for me to edit it.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's literally what pulled.
So it's interesting how they pull over and once the strap breaks, because they're towing it with one strap, and they take a picture of the car VIN number and all of that for parts. Sounds like to me like you're building your ass an alibi.
Up on if I had a way to screen share right now, I would totally screen share my map so you could see everything on my side. I don't know if that's possible, but I could. I wonder. No, there's
No,
no.
but you know what you can do? You can screen record it.
How do I? I
maybe-
don't know how to do that either.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I like your new pickbacks. It's cute. Cutesies. Okay. Have you showed authorities this?
Oh yeah, they have it all.
I'm sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And they have that.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Well, all right. Now, what is this photo? This is 956
That's the
as
part.
well.
Yep, that's the part. The same part that's in the middle of that picture. That's the AC compressor part.
Okay. Now, why are you taking these pictures at this time?
It was something that I already had the hood open to reattach the strap because I had to connect the strap on the inside of the hood.
Adrian wants a link. He says he's being set up. Yeah, I'll drop a link, but he's going to have to show his face. He'll have to show his face before he's coming up. Go ahead.
So,
that was Adrian in chat, but he would not
so
come
that's
up.
why I took that picture. Was because the hood was already.
Trust me. They watch everything. Adrian watches everything. Brandon watches everything. If Brandon isn't watching this right now, he will be watching it in the morning.
Open and I
Brandon, I will be texting you a link. Don't worry.
wanted to snap a picture anyways while I was there because it was nighttime, you know what I mean? And the next day I was planning on making some phone calls to find that part for.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So I dropped a link. I don't think it's Adrian, but he'll have to show his face before he comes up. It's just that simple. What's wrong with Half Pint? All right. Carry on with your story because it's not him. It's just a troll.
Got a lot of those, huh?
Yeah. A lot of them.
Bunch of fake people. So from there, we went home from Payette. We had the car behind us. Brandon was steering it. Sarah and I were in the truck, pulled into the subdivision, and there was a bunch of people walking around. I told Sarah, I was like, hey, let's stop. Let's find out what's
What
going
time is
on.
this? What time is this?
Sometime after that timestamp. So, like, if you do the math, like 20 minutes after that last timestamp right there.
So we're talking at 10, 15, 10, 20?
Correct.
Okay, so why the hell? He's on the side of the road, the strap breaks. Why the hell is he taking a photo of Brandon's Mercedes? Why? He violated something, his probation or his parole or something. I don't know if my chat's frozen or if it's no one's chatting. It's your chat's frozen. I think the same thing. I'm like, nobody's chatting. And then I have to exit out. It's YouTube. Michael goes missing at 6:40 to 7 p.m.
Correct.
So we are looking at we'll say we'll do 7 o'clock, 8, 9, 10. We're looking at 3.5 hours. Michael
Correct.
had been missing. Okay. All right. Michael's missing. We're gonna say 3.5 to 4 hours. Okay. All right. So you're pulling up to
Careful what?
you're going to your house. Sibs.
Correct.
Okay, go ahead. What do you mean
So
by that?
pulling into the neighborhood, I told Sarah to stop to find out what was going on. They at then point, police officer said that a little boy had gone missing.
I don't
We
remember.
were like, really? And they're like, what's his name? We asked what his name was. They said it was Michael Vaughn. And we're like, okay, we'll keep an eye out for him or whatever. So we got back.
When they got back, there was a frantic search, and they were like, "Oh, we don't know what's going on," but yet they had already abducted him, taken him to to Brandon's mother's house, who was out of town, and he was left there overnight.
Back to the house on Red Wing Street. And Sarah and
I
Brandon,
apologize, guys. It's not Adrian. I've got Adrian's contact. It's not Adrian. So if it is Adrian, he can come up, but I assure you it's not Adrian.
It was a
Either come up, show your face. You don't have to show your face on camera up here, but you have to show it behind the scenes where I can see it. And if not, then nobody even mention it anymore.
I don't
please.
think so.
Be done with it.
Hey, Level.
Sorry, Safety.
it's all good. So we get back to the house and pull around Mallard Street, took a left on Mallard Street because Mallard Street.
Since you're watching, what did your other friend want you to let Adrian stay with you at the Wanderers? Your friends talk a lot about you, Brandon, that not so innocent one. Your friends talk a lot about you, Brandon. Why did your other friends want you to let Adrian stay with you at the Wanderers? I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. Justin is reviewing. Yeah. Got to keep Michael's name out there.
Leads on to Red Wing.
Okay.
And it was just easiest to go that way because we had a vehicle
Exactly.
behind us that we were towing.
Mhm.
And so we pulled onto the side of the curb or the side of the road, which on our house, which is there's a
Come
curb.
on.
Hey, Josh. This is Josh from the lab. He's my buddy.
What's up, Josh? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh my God. Let me tell you something. Stacy got so mad at me after this. He's like, you didn't say you were bringing anybody up. Because Josh came up and he just went nuke, like just straight nuke.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
So pull out of the house on Red Wing Street. There is literally, I mean, there's people walking around everywhere, of course. Sarah and Brendan said they were going to go look for the kid or for Michael. I said, okay, well, I'm going to stay here because I got to get this car unlatched from being in the street because, you can't legally have a car taking up the whole length of the street pretty much.
Right.
So I went and
So we tried to play like the good cop, bad cop
Um,
kind of thing.
did that. Well, they went looking for Michael. They came back probably, I don't know, midnight, 12:30, said they had no luck on finding him.
hmm
Um,
Hold on, here we go. Work on that. So let me just wait a second. So you want to explain where you're at? Second. Let me just find it here
Okay.
of that day. Um.
can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
So we're gonna go live again tomorrow. How long are we planning on doing this one?
He starts getting a comp. I can pull it up. I got so many screens pulled up. It's in. Okay. All right. And this is from forget what news. I'm sorry, I don't got the source on me right now, but it says according to documents, police forced entry into Wandra's home around 9:30 p.m. Friday, where they found Sarah Wandra in the living room. She was detained and read a copy of a search warrant. Happy Brandy. Quote, when I got to the portion that read murder, she said, quote, did you just say murder multiple times? End quote. A Fruitland police officer wrote in the affidavit, she also said, quote, I have never murdered anyone, end quote. Officials said Sarah Wandra maintained that she, quote, definitely did not kill that boy, end quote. That's her quote, not mine. And said, quote, the Most High God already told me who did it, end quote. She reportedly told. So let's just think about this a moment. Stacy is in jail. He thinks they he thinks he's going to get some type of deal by telling them that Michael is in the backyard. Well, they go dig up the backyard. Michael has been moved because Sarah and one of the two or both of the other guys living there, Brandon and Adrian, have already moved Michael. So anyway, when they go there, so Stacy tells them that he's in the backyard. They go there and they say, "Hey, you're under arrest." Um, Sarah or Stacy told us about Michael being in the backyard, and that's when she gets this vision. Oh my God, the Most High God just told me Michael is in the backyard. How convenient. Both just confessed. Told police, quote, oh wow, the Most High God just told me that Stacy was the one who killed him and buried him in the backyard, end quote, the neighbor's house. When she asked
She absolutely did,
later
Miss Tracy.
to show police where the boy was buried, according to the affidavit, she told police of a spot near the entry of the residence and said Stacy had buried him in the backyard, quote, in the backyard of the shed, end quote. Police said at that point they began to digging a portion of the Wanderer's yard based upon information, quote, received from Stacy, who had not yet been arrested or charged by Monday afternoon. It wasn't clear when or why police had spoken with Stacy Wandra. Do you know why she would say something like that?
I'm appalled. I have no clue. She's literally like gone cuckoo. Um, I'm a very high believer in God, and I believe in.
Look how uncomfortable he is. Yeah, she's done gone cuckoo. You're the one that said it first, you mother chicken. You're the one that told first. And then they come in and they say, we got a search warrant. We're searching everything. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. The Most High God just told me that this child is in the backyard and Stacy buried him next to a building. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. She's gone cuckoo, you dumbass. You said it first.
God strongly, and God wouldn't tell a lie. You know what I mean? God is very.
What's Josh's
Um,
eyes? He's like,
you know, he
Well,
died on the
God,
cross.
God may not tell a lie, but humans will. Let me ask you this
That's
question
true.
really
That's right.
fast.
Go ahead.
I guess my question really is,
drink.
what is it that you're trying to accomplish? I mean, you are a suspect in the case,
Mhm.
whether you know
Yes.
law enforcement has
Yeah.
said that. What is it like? So you're doing, not, I'm not saying you're doing rounds, but you're going on panels and stuff. Like, how is this going to help you? How is this going to help exonerate you?
It's
And it did not help him at all. This really, really hurt him.
not going to help exonerate me, but what it's doing
Did
is
not
giving
help him
people
at
my
all.
side of the story, because there's a lot of stories being told, but nobody's going to believe one person over the other. Reality is I'm still a suspect. And when it gets cleared by law enforcement, then people have a different view. But I want to personally tell people my side of the story, because I feel that's what I'm destined to do. Because I feel there's a lot of bullshit talk, there's a lot of crap talk about each and every one of us.
Mhm.
I'm just honestly going out there because I know what happened that night. I know that I know the whereabouts where I was. I know the whereabouts where Sarah and Brandon were. I don't see that. That's why I'm doing this, because there's a lot of questions regarding this.
Yeah,
Right.
but you don't have anything to offer as to where Michael is.
I don't. You're right, because I don't.
So what I'm saying is, like, and the point that, I mean, that should take 5 minutes to say.
He has taken a polygraph.
I did take a polygraph, and I was very well informed that I passed a polygraph by detectives, by the FBI, by my mom, who the detective
Why do they all say they passed? Why do they well,
just
I mean, what
told.
else are they going to say? They failed
I
miserably?
was also told that Sarah and Brandon did not.
Have you told investigators anything that you haven't told the public? And if so,
No.
why?
Still in
No.
jail.
So your story that you're telling everybody is the exact same that you
Exactly.
have
Exactly.
told in the interrogations.
Exactly.
And to stop an interrogation, what you did, you said that Michael was in the yard. How does that, did that stop an interrogate? Did that actually stop it?
I haven't been interrogated since. They haven't.
And-
I haven't heard from law enforcement. I haven't talked to law enforcement. I haven't even heard a peep from
And
anybody.
so they dug up that entire yard, as we all saw. We watched.
They dug up that entire yard underneath the house. They have evidence that he was there, right? When someone has been buried, there is evidence, right? There is decomp still in the dirt, DNA, that kind of thing. Michael was, if Sarah, Brandon, Adrian hadn't have moved him, they would have found him, and we would be at trial right now. But they moved him, so we don't know where Michael is.
Them do it
Mhm.
based on just you saying that he was buried in the yard to stop it.
Correct.
So you tricked law enforcement into doing that?
I guess if you want to put it that way, yes.
Well, I mean, that's against the law, right?
I mean, do you think?
So you very well, you could and probably should.
Yes, you can't lie to law
Would be
enforcement.
charged with that. But let me, and I'm not here to like trip you up or hang you or be mean to you or anything. But how is it that you can trick dogs into hitting on human decomp? You can't do that. You can trick the police, but you're not tricking dogs.
Look at his face.
No, not at all.
Look
But
at-
And the
I
dogs
personally-
did hit, correct?
apparently that's what
There
I'm
were
being
supposed to
told,
be
yeah.
multiple dogs.
So
According to
you told them that Michael was buried in the yard, and then, which you say is a lie, but then dogs hit on human
No.
beings.
Sarah used to tell her ex-husband that she wanted to like kidnap and tie up people.
Decomp in that yard.
They hit before I told them that. That's why they questioned me.
So they hit before? You told
Correct.
them, no. He told them that he was in the backyard. Then they hit. So did
But to prove my point that there was nothing back there, that's why I had them go dig it up. I knew there was nothing back.
no, there was, and 3 dogs. One was from North Carolina to Idaho. Traveled through what 3 time zones to get there.
There. I simply was very much so under pressure. I was being interrogated to the point of tears. I mean, for hours a day, for like 3 or 4 days.
No, you weren't.
And honestly, I
No, you weren't. No, you weren't.
could not take it. It was killing me.
But I thought you said you gave them the tip.
I did give them the tip after they interrogated me.
If the dogs would have
but-
hit earlier, they would
You gave them the tip.
have just dug it
first.
up.
Yeah, that's the thing. If that's what I'm trying to understand.
That's what I'm saying.
here.
Like, so obviously,
I mean,
I mean-
they wouldn't notice. They wouldn't have known to search your house if
Right.
they hadn't had it. If you hadn't given them the tip.
That's what I'm saying. I told them.
you told them, and then the dogs hit, correct?
No.
Because the dog, if they hit on
cadaver
dog,
dogs hit before, that's at least what I'm being told. That's what law enforcement told me. That's what detective
was
criminal.
they would dig it up though. They would have dug it up if dogs would have hit. Just not so they didn't. They dug it up because you said Michael was buried in the yard.
Correct.
Okay, but
Then
how
they
did
bring the dogs out there to confirm that.
you gave them a specific location? A specific location where Michael was buried.
Hey, there is human there is they're hitting out here. So then they dig it up.
All I know is I told them that fable. That's what I.
You want to talk about hell? You want to talk about hell? This mother heard the excavation down the street of them searching for her child. And she couldn't do anything. Couldn't go down there. Couldn't do anything. That is hell. Linda Lou, thank you so much, my dear, for becoming a member. Appreciate you. Thank you, my dear. That is hell.
told them I don't know anything further than that.
And you can
I know
see
that
how
they
that's
said
going to
the
be
dog-
hard for people to understand.
I do absolutely.
Because I mean that's a lot to tell. I mean, to get an interrogation to stop, all you would need to do is say, "Hey, I want to talk to my lawyer."
Yep.
And I did that.
Say, I'm done. You can stop an interrogation at any time. Say, I'm done. At any time. You know that. They tell you that before you start the interrogation during your Miranda rights. second
My
number.
lawyer was present with me.
Okay. So your lawyer was present with you, but they had you to tears. Bullshit. I've got the clip where JD Huff said, we have Candy. Thank you so much for 4 months, my dear. Appreciate you. Thank you, baby doll. Love you to pieces. We have multiple dogs hit, and we've got all of this based on evidence, it says.
And testimony. I mean, and that's what I'm really wondering is because like I said, this is just what I think. I think that you plan on being indicted like everybody else that was up there on those poster boards, and you're trying to get ahead of this thing, kind of get your story out there, which I don't blame you, but it's
Ding,
going to
ding,
come back to
ding.
bite you in the ass. I know it is. But what you're going to do is so since there's 4 different people involved, what's going to end up happening is you guys are all going to start throwing each other under the bus. You're kind of Brandon was the first one. Then it's you because you're out of jail now. And Adrian eventually at trial or whatever is happening here. But what I'm saying is, I don't understand why anybody would tell the police that there's a kid buried in the yard to stop an interrogation. What good does that do? Did that make
Yeah, probable cause affidavit. They hand dug first, and Stacy spoke to us not in custody.
did that help you in some way?
The probable cause
Because why you
affidavit.
wouldn't tell him that unless he was actually buried in that yard.
He wasn't.
He wasn't when they went back, but he was at one point, according to the dogs.
But the
And to
problem,
you.
the problem is how is he not? I mean, how is he not found? I mean, he obviously was in that yard at some point. Investigators and dogs and everyone picked it up. Now, maybe you didn't have nothing to do with it, but somebody at that house did. You know what I mean? That's the thing. And who was it?
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm telling my side, because I know for a fact, and per the posters and the pictures and everything that I posted that I sent to Justin, like I had nothing to do with this boy's disappearance. I had no knowledge of him being buried. If he was buried, that's news to me. And what's weird about it is our neighborhood, like they have.
Imagine making up a lie and saying that this child that had been missing for over a year at this point, saying out of all the places in Fruitland, Idaho and around Fruitland, Idaho, you say, oh, Michael was buried in my backyard. But you tell the police that, and then they knock on the door, and then your wife says, oh, the Lord God told me that my husband did it, Stacy, and he's buried next to the building. And then Stacy tells them specifically where he was buried as well. They tell the same spot. And then they dig it and they find that he's not there, but they find evidence that he was once buried there. Coincidences like that don't happen. And then Stacy's like, well, he might have been buried there. He might have been buried there, but I had no knowledge of it, except I just told you that he was in the backyard, and my wife just told on me as well. And I told you the location.
Cameras that like from Sky Camera, whatever it is, that you can see into the backyard. there were holes. My dog Oakley, it was a digger, but
Bullshit.
she dug right when you walked out the front patio where the dead spot is where the barbecue was.
Hmm.
But
Now,
it was dead because the barbecue we had two barbecues at the time, and one was sitting on the grass.
One
in
of the
this
things.
affidavit,
Oh, sorry,
sorry,
Justin.
go ahead, Josh.
Well, one of the things that the dog would do is when they're sniffing in the yard, not only would they do that, at any point, if he was in the house at all, if Michael was in your house, the dogs would hit at the front porch. Did they?
No, not to my knowledge. No.
I think they hit beside the front porch.
Oh, okay. So that would indicate that he was near the house. So Michael, I mean, let's just be honest here. Michael was around that house.
Huh?
Michael was around that house. The dogs aren't going to hit just for no reason unless you buried somebody else back there.
I don't know. I have no information to give to that. Like I told everybody and anybody
He
on.
has no information to give, but except he gave the correct information.
Yep.
He said he was, brought to tears, is why he said, which is a complete crock of shit because his lawyer was sitting right there.
I knew something about this because I am in no way okay
Mm-hmm.
with abducting a child, killing him, burying him.
Except
I
you
would
did.
bury somebody else for doing that to somebody like that.
Except now,
you did.
the probable
I
cause
would be-
affidavit, it says that you spoke to them while you were not in custody about this.
I gave them permission
Okay, maybe that's what
to
that
search the house when Sarah got arrested.
Mhm.
I didn't get arrested. She got arrested April 13th of 2022. I got arrested May 6th of 2022.
Okay. All right.
Do you expect to be indicted for this?
I was going to ask the yeah, there would be no question that someone may be buried in my backyard. He is batshit crazy. Yes. Most of us know that there is no body buried in any of our backyards, right? Right? But there was his.
I mean,
If I am-
obviously you have an idea that you're probably, or else you wouldn't be doing this. I mean, let's just I've seen
doing
this
this to
before.
clear.
Hey Elf, he wasn't why was he released? I can't remember why he was released. It was he was arrested on non-related charges. He based upon a pew pew that he was not supposed to have. He has this fetish for pew pews, and he is a felon.
to tell my side of the story. And if I'm indicted, they've got a long road ahead of them with going to trial.
Well, I mean, not really. If you told
He's so confident about this, and he is so full of shit. He knows
him
better.
that he was in the yard, I mean, you're going to be charged with lying to investigators if that's what you did, and that's a serious crime too.
And if I am, I am. I own up to that.
This
I take
is in
accountability.
October. Prosecutors on the investigation over Michael says, quote, I expect to charge it. And prosecutors, andale, come on, 3 years.
I mean, they put 4 posters up of people, and I'm not saying you don't have the right to defend yourself. You absolutely do. And if you have nothing to do with this, all that should come out eventually. But I don't know. I'm not really sure why. I just don't. I can't get past like how you would just say, hey, yeah, he's in the yard.
I literally made that up.
And
There was
then
no-
dogs
there's
literally
nothing
hit
behind it.
on human decomposition.
Yeah, that's the problem is if you made it up and he was actually in the backyard, I mean, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, Stacey?
I feel you, and I get that. But
And that's like that's a hell of a
I
coincidence.
gave them a direction. Okay, this is where I know that it was a lie, because that dog may have hit in the backyard, but the
Exactly.
direction and area that I pointed to him, the dogs did not hit around
Bullshit.
at that house in the backyard. I told them he was literally buried directly across from the patio
Mhm.
Well, who do you think did this?
I don't know.
Is
I
it
know
somebody, do you
I
think
know
it was somebody in
Adrian
the
has
house?
I know Adrian has, according to detectives and what I've been told by them, that Adrian has a huge history of human trafficking. So I wouldn't put it past him.
No.
Oh.
But the matter
Or
of the
UT.
fact is when and how he would get away with doing something like that, because I have no knowledge of any of this.
Okay. All right. Let me just play this. And this was what they said. on
Everybody, I
that
just
day.
wanted to start.
I cannot believe you forgot about this. How dare you forget about being on panel with me and Stacy Wandra? Evil Josh. Evil.
Out by saying thank you,
Let me
investigation, and it remains very active and an ongoing investigation. You can't take one of our most precious citizens from us and ever expect us to stop.
I'm getting that tattooed on
During
me.
the course of this investigation to date, we received credible information that the remains of Michael Vaghan could be found in the backyard at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland.
Can you pause that?
You should think about this daily of being on panel with me and Stacy Wandra, Josh. I mean, come on.
For a
As a
second?
result, the Fruitland Police Department obtained a search.
Why it says that they received credible information. So that's based on your tip alone. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Okay. I was just checking.
Okay.
Search warrant for the residents along with the front and backyards. That search warrant was served on November 11th. It was a Friday. We served that late in the evening. Upon entry, officers encountered Sarah Wandra, one of the known occupants of the home, and Sarah was subsequently arrested based on probable cause that she had knowledge of Michael's death and failed to report that death to law enforcement.
Probable cause. She blurted it out. They walked in there. They didn't even ask her. They didn't even ask her. They were like, okay, we're here. And she's like, oh God, the Lord God told me. Didn't even have to ask her.
What?
She sang like a canary. Would the probable cause be?
Him.
Following day, the Fruitland Police Department,
That's
joined by the
more than
Idaho State Police, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, the Fruitland Fire Department, and the Fruitland Public Works Department, began a very methodical excavation of the backyard of the Wanderer's home. During that excavation process, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, Mountain States detection dogs deployed multiple certified human remains detection dogs on the property,
Listen to this.
all of them alerting to the presence of human remains.
All of them. All of them. And they got like a very specialized dog from North Carolina to Idaho, traveling time zones to get there. All of them.
So that's
Go ahead.
that's where the problem,
Right here.
you know, that's where the story really starts to fall apart for you. Is you're saying that I made this up, but then you have multiple dogs. Every dog that was there hit.
Yes. Mhm.
They're not hit.
Yes. The dogs also hit at Brandon's mommy's house. Brandon's mommy's house. Didn't they, Brandon?
I mean, you can bring them to my backyard right now. I can make up a lie. They're not going to hit, and they're not going to dig up my yard.
That's right. You and I could make up a lie right now and say that there's human remains in anybody's yard, and there's not, right? There's not.
I mean, you understand that.
Penetrating
did.
radar was also used
Sorry, go ahead.
That's it. I was just wondering.
I just want to finish this little
and
bit right here.
deployed, detecting anomalies in the backyard. We completed the excavation
And that's where something has been dug and, the ground isn't as firm.
of the entire backyard and removed over 250 yards of dirt.
Anomalies.
Prior to backfilling the yard, the dirt was meticulously sifted for any potential human remains. We did not find Michael's remains. Although the remains of Michael Vaughn were not recovered, we strongly believe, based on evidence, that Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that
Thank you. Based on evidence.
his remains were buried and later moved from the property. As of today, the whereabouts of his remains are unknown. However, the investigation is active.
Pearl's mom, I don't know what you mean by the parents' yard. They dug one of the suspects' parents' yard, which is they hit.
Fluid and ongoing.
I mean, that's
Sarah wanted a baby, right?
she wanted a baby.
Did she
yes.
take Michael?
I have no idea.
I mean, she's your wife. You would have
Yeah,
some
Sarah
idea
was
if the boy
also
was.
very deceitful and hid everything from me. She had the gun she held Tanner Butler up at gunpoint with.
Mhm.
I had no idea or any knowledge about the gun that she had.
He's such a lying sack of shit. He knows every GUN that is in that house because he has a fetish for these things. That is exactly what he is in jail for now, is the GUN that he is a felon and he has done this multiple times over.
Because Randy Strickland, who was staying with us, asked her to not tell me about it because I was a felon.
And he bought it.
Is that
And
what
he
you got in
trusted her
trouble
more
for?
than me. Huh? No,
Is that
I got
what
in trouble for having my own gun.
Right. Well, the
Were
main
you
thing
offered a deal, like a cooperation deal?
They offered this before they dug the yard, and they said that they would give me a 15 plus 7, but in the condition that I would tell them where the body is. And I said, I don't know.
You didn't say you didn't know. You told them exactly where you thought he was, and he was there at some point. The thing that you didn't know is that Stara and Brandon and Adrian, or one of the combinations with Sarah, moved Michael. You was going to take that deal.
Know where the body is.
Currently, or you did in the past?
I have never known where the body is.
Somebody in the chat just said that Adrian was left with a duffel bag. You know anything about that?
No, never even knew.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You know about that duffel bag.
That he had a
Brandon, you're going to be watching this. You know about that duffel bag.
duffel bag with him. He had a backpack.
So you unequivocally, absolutely never at any point in your life have seen Michael Vaughn. Never.
I don't even know who this kid was, and that's deep down honest to God with everything in my heart. I have no idea. I've never seen this kid.
Liar.
I didn't even know he existed. I didn't know who Tyler and Brandy were.
Liar.
Like, honestly, I've never seen that kid in my day of my life.
Okay, so Brandon had a duffel bag. Excuse me. What did Brandon have? What was Brandon doing with the duffel bag?
He had his clothes in it. Like, I watched him when we went to go tow the car. I watched him have an empty duffel bag. It was empty.
No, you didn't.
And I watched him fill it with all of his clothes that he had at our house.
No, you
Was it
didn't.
your duffel bag?
No, it was his.
So you're not missing a duffel bag?
Not at all.
Okay.
What about underneath the house?
There
The
was
crawl
a crawl
space.
space, but that crawl space literally it was in the walk-in closet from our bathroom.
Right.
That literally had an empty Savage Arms old box from an old 17 that I had.
Okay.
Did a dog hit at Brandon's house?
Um, I don't know. I don't know. I can't confirm that because I've been told things through lives, like doing YouTube lives, but I've never heard anything from the police. No.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any further questions, like Eve that does the same thing you guys do has literally covered this whole case extensively, like thoroughly.
Mhm.
And she just wanted me to point out to you guys, like, if you have questions like skeptibilities or whatever, to literally go to her. Like, she has the police reports, she has everything.
I just don't understand why you would lie to the feds about saying that there's a body in the backyard,
You
and
have to
then
understand it coming from my point of view and my mental disability that I suffer with, like, not as an excuse, but
What's your
the
mental
as an
disability?
excuse.
I have fetal alcohol syndrome, I have Asperger's, I have autism, which is Asperger's, I have bipolar, intermittent explosive disorder. Now, mind you, 98% of those I've overcome being in group homes my whole life. But people that have fetal alcohol syndrome, it is very common that people get put in very pressured situations,
And
and that instant reaction just to give something to get them to back off.
y'all were fighting for the attention of Sarah. And Sarah was queen in that home. She wanted a kid. And you took a human being that wasn't yours. And you're right. And you're right. But the problem is what you told them is what they have evidence that there was someone in the backyard.
Okay, but they did not specify where the dogs hit. They said they hit in the backyard. I told them where it made up again, where
Well,
he was buried, which was directly across when you walk out the back patio door. It was directly straight across, right in the middle of the fence, in the middle of the yard. They didn't specify where he was hit. They said that they dug by the shed and that the dogs had to hit around the shed area. That's what I've been told. I know, and if you read their report, or you probably can pull it up, she literally, I don't know if it's accessible or not, but I know for a fact that when I gave them that location, they literally, I watched it on video when they were digging at that spot. They were detective
exactly, Elf. It doesn't matter where, it was your yard.
was on the phone with me.
Mm-hmm.
They dug nothing up. The dogs did not hit in that spot. I watched them.
Mm-hmm.
But you said that he was in the yard.
I said he was in that
Clear
direct
instructions.
spot, but he was never there.
Well,
Clearly,
he was in that yard somewhere at one point.
somewhere, probably, I don't know.
He
I have
probably
nothing.
was.
I don't have knowledge
He just admitted it right there.
of it.
Well,
Like
I
I
mean,
said,
you
I
didn't pull
don't
that out of thin
know.
air. Maybe
Yes, I
Adrian
did.
told you. Maybe
Yes, I
Sarah
did.
told you. Maybe Brandon
No.
told you.
But this is exactly why it's hard for me to do these lies, because people are gonna try to
Twist and
judge me
turn my
and say
words.
that I
That's what they
literally
all
didn't.
say. They're going to twist and turn my words. No, you did this.
I had something to do with it. My question to you is why, when they did a polygraph test and I answered every question they asked me about Michael's disappearance, why on earth that polygraph?
Well,
You
to be
you don't just get a false positive on a polygraph.
well, but the thing is, I'm going to throw something back at you after if you are taking heavy medications and
Haven't taken any medication.
and you have these
Haven't taken
disorders,
medication for years.
Well, do you have proof that you passed a polygraph?
You can probably get it in the affidavit
Because I
somewhere.
mean, you can't
I
use it in
can
a
tell
court of
you
law
that
anyway.
three people talked to me about my polygraph, including the guy that did the polygraph in the Meridian Police Department, the Highway Patrol. The
Mhm.
guy that did the polygraph told me, he asked, how do you feel you did? And I said, I was honest about everything. He goes, you're right, you did. And then later on, I talked to the detectives. They also verified. Scott Crimmon was also at the Meridian Highway Patrol during my testing. He also said that I passed my polygraph.
Did
Anita,
Sarah pass?
no. According to what I'm being told, no. I don't have confirmation. I'm hearing that from my mom and what the detectives told my mom because Sarah was married to me.
So here's a common occurrence in these kinds of cases is that people want to give information, but they don't want to implicate themselves. They want to have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Sarah not passing, but you passing. 3 other people may know what have happened, but I don't know what happened. And then you see what I'm saying, and you see where I'm going with it. I'm not trying to be rude and trip you up here. I'm just saying you pulling that out of thin air is almost impossible.
And it's not impossible for me.
I said almost impossible.
Okay, and I believe that. Okay, almost impossible, yeah. But for me, it wasn't impossible. If
I mean,
if you literally sat there, you would see how literally like how on the verge of tears I was because I'm being interrogated so hard and so rough. And I told them the same exact thing the very first 4 interviews before the last one before when I told them about where he was in the backyard. I told them the same exact thing that I've told everybody else. I have never met this kid a day in my life. I've never seen him. I don't know anything about him. I don't know anything about him disappearing, any of that.
you know what day they gave you the polygraph on?
What, David?
Do you know what day they gave you the
day?
polygraph?
It was May 18th, I believe. It was literally the day that I got my case dropped for felon in possession out of state when the feds picked it up.
Okay. So while you so you're basically lying to them while you're on the phone with them while they're digging up the backyard,
Yeah.
is what you're saying. Now, see, the thing about the day is like you're saying that you and Sarah and Brandon went to Cuna. Now, the thing with Brandon's story, which he's saying that him and Stacy got home and they went to the gas station.
Him and Sarah?
Or Sarah, sorry, him and Sarah
No.
went
They
to
never
the
went to
gas
the
station at
station.
7:00.
No.
And it's like somebody's lying here. Somebody's lying, and it's
They never went to the gas station. We left in our truck to go tow his car upon his request.
Mhm.
I have
Why did
no
you stop? Why
reason
did you
to
stop
lie.
at 8th in Arizona again? I'm just curious about
To
that.
put power steering fluid in the truck. And it
what time
wasn't
was that?
directly on Arizona Street. It was probably about 50, 60, maybe 70 feet, 80, maybe 100 feet behind Arizona, like before Arizona Street. Literally right after you turn left out of our subdivision to go on 8th Street is where we pulled off.
Was Brandon with you?
Yes.
And so when you did that, just about the time that Michael goes missing, you understand that, right? Just kind of coincidental too.
I don't know what else to tell you guys.
Yeah. That's right, guys. Exactly. That's right. They are seen at the corner of right where Michael Vaughn went missing. And then months later, he admits that Michael is in his backyard. They go in the house. Sarah sings like a canary. They dig up the backyard. He wasn't there, but they have evidence that he once was there. But he was pressured, and he would just absolutely all of these things aligned for just this conspiracy. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit that he can sit there and say that Michael. They did not abduct Michael whenever it was on the corner of 8th and Arizona, right where Michael's house is, there on the corner. It's like 100 feet or something. I can't remember how far it is from the corner of Michael Vaughn's home. Seen there, and just amazing, just amazing. And then also the dogs also hit at Brandon's mom's home while she was out of town. That is where they took Michael.
Guys, I've told everything. I've told everything as
Look, I've asked everything that and I know some people are saying, "Oh, Josh, you're being mean." I don't think I am. I'm just asking questions. And I'll let you finish up, Justin.
No, I don't think you're being mean. I mean, I think we're trying to find out what's going on here, and that's the thing. There's 4 different people saying 4 different things. What time were you on 8th and with the power steering fluid?
I don't have an exact time. Like I said, it's probably.
But the problem is, like, why do you need to stop right then and put power steering fluid in?
Because when Sarah made the left turn, the whining on the truck, when you have low on power steering fluid and your power steering is low on fluid, it will cause an extensive whine.
Yep, he just happened to need power steering fluid right there on the corner, right there where Michael Vaughn, around the places where he went missing, right where his house is. Right then, he had to have power steering fluid.
And it literally sprays everywhere.
When not if. Brandon
So we literally knew we were making the trip.
Mm-hmm.
So we had stopped literally just for the sole purpose of putting power steering fluid in. I had got out in the passenger side of the truck. Sarah popped the hood. I opened the hood, opened power steering reservoir, poured power steering fluid in, closed the cap on the power.
Grabbed Michael Vaughn, one of you, and went to Kuna.
Power steering fluid, walked back around to the passenger side truck, and we left.
Are you guys on CCTV anywhere?
Yeah, they have that picture as well. They have that.
They have what?
They have the picture.
They sure do.
Picture of us stopping on 8th Street. They have the video. It was CCTV. That was also recorded. They showed that to me.
But has anybody known that? Is this the first time you're telling that?
Nobody's asked me about it, but I told them everything.
Oh, I didn't. I was just wondering if you were on CCTV at all that day, but they have you on CCTV.
Yes,
on 8th in Arizona.
Yes, correct.
Mm-hmm. Got you on CC there, don't they? Nobody's asked it, so I'm not going to divulge it.
With Brandon in the car.
Correct. And Sarah.
Oof. I mean,
And
that's a major problem, right?
That day. Hold on. You saw a boy that day as well, didn't you? You said
Yes,
you saw a boy.
further down 8th Street on the very right-hand side in somebody's yard. And he didn't look anything like Michael.
Yeah, he sees another child. He sees another child down like 18 houses, like 8 houses or something, which you can't even down because that's down by the splash pad. He's such a moron. And he did say that in other interviews. Brandy, he certainly did. Sweet Toughness, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate you. Welcome.
Any point in time.
Okay.
We didn't ever even approach the kid.
Did the boy you saw have a yellow shirt on?
It was a bright shirt, correct. From what I remember, it was shorts and a bright shirt. And he was a lot taller than the 5-year-old boy. I can tell you that much.
Okay.
So who put the
So he's not even paying attention. He says he's just putting power steering fluid in, but he also notices a boy with a bright colored shirt and shorts on, 6 houses down. Brandy says 6 houses. I went and videoed how far you can see that where they allegedly pulled over. And you can not see anywhere in a yard 6 houses down. That is complete bullshit. You're lying, Stacy. You know you're lying. You know your ass is going to be slung in prison.
Power steering fluid in.
I did.
So you're on video getting out of the truck.
Correct.
And is Stacy with you at this time? I mean, Sarah?
Sarah? Yeah, she's driving the truck. She was in the
Right. And I asked him, I said, tell us which house. Tell us which house you saw someone in. Tell us which house, because we'll go there. We'll ask him. Was there a you have a kid that was 3 years ago that could have been playing in the yard? I'm sure that they scouted every child in the neighborhood out.
driver's seat the whole time. Brandon was in the back seat the whole time. I was the
Okay.
only one to get out of the truck as it's on video and recording, and the video shows me putting power steering fluid in the
They
truck.
showed it to you.
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
When is the next time you put power steering fluid in that day?
I didn't have to
Sarah?
put it until the next day.
Okay.
I usually had to fill up the truck once a day with power steering fluid.
Was that the only place that you're on CCTV?
No, I was on CCTV at the splash pad.
Yes, he was at the splash pad at. I've got
Is
so
it
many
was
notes
that
here.
is that common? Was that common? I'm sorry, I didn't know if that's common knowledge or not.
No,
He's good.
that's proof. I saw proof from the detectives. They showed me the video.
You knew that, Justin? You knew that he was on video?
Yep, he's on video there at the splash pad, getting out of his truck. He says
Car.
rather, getting his snuff.
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, I heard that. So what happened was that you dropped your chew, you got out, you
Yep.
got it at the splash pad. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you answering my questions. I know they come off fast, and that's just how I think and talk. So
It's okay, man. Like I said, I'm just here literally to tell my side of things.
To
Because
lie
if there's
your
one
ass.
person that's going to tell the truth, it's me. I remember verbatim. I have timestamps that were pulled up on the maps that Justin can show you if you want to see them,
I'll
or I
send
can
it to you,
send them
John.
to you directly.
But
Like,
I would like a screen recording of that, just so that little.
I don't know how to screen record on my phone. I have no idea how to do that. 100% honest. I just got this phone, so
I'll teach you.
So did you guys go to Brandon's house that day?
correct.
And
That
then
night.
so here's another problem.
So they go there. He says they go there to tow the car, and Brandon does a load of laundry. He uses that duffel bag to get laundry. Brandon says he went there for water earlier in the day with Sarah in his interview, but regardless, they went there to tow the car. He does laundry at his mother's house, even though they have a perfectly good washer and dryer at Sarah's and Stacy's house, and even though Sarah has a laundry service that she provides by doing people's laundry. She has an actual laundry service business. But the next morning, they get back in Fruitland very late into the night, and that's when this full-on search is going for Michael Vaughn at that time. And early the next morning, they are back in Kuna by 9 in the morning. So within 8-9 hours later, they're back in Kuna to pick up Brandon's laundry from his mother's house, I suppose, is what they say, which is hog shit. Absolute hog shit. Prison justice will come. It's coming.
if the dogs hit in the yard at your house, you guys are headed over to Brandon's, and the
Right.
dogs hit there too. I mean, obviously, there's a body that's being transported.
Yeah. Yes. Not only did they find evidence and scent of Michael's remains being at their house, which is very, 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 very close to where Michael went missing. They found evidence that Michael was in Kuna, which is where they went that night. It's obviously showing that he has been transported. It's clear as day,
back and forth,
or as Chris Proudfoot would say, crystal clear.
and they're assuming that it's Michael. That's why you guys are suspects, right?
So to be, yes.
Yes.
But like I said, have.
Is it possible that he was with that they covered this up with you being in the truck, that Michael was with them
Not
and
at
you
all.
didn't know about it?
Not at all. Because the only thing that got put in the truck, we all walked out together. The only thing that Brandon had in his hand was a duffel bag full of his clothes. I watched him fill his duffel bag up with clothes. It was empty, keep in mind. Watched him fill the duffel bag up, watched him put it in the truck. We all walked out together. The only thing that Sarah had in her hand was her purse.
Yeah.
And a grocery bag that had 2 or 3 Diet Pepsis in it.
Was Sarah, she was seen carrying a kid? Was she ever?
No.
And so
The only
that's what you told police, though? That's
Yes.
you're telling the same thing. Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
There's nothing that I have said on my lives that I have not told the detectives, just so everybody's aware.
Yeah, and I just don't like. I don't know how. Look, I don't care what you do. You can talk, do whatever you want. But I mean, he filled. So the duffel bag was filled up with clothes. He had that many clothes.
He literally had a stack of clothes, a pile of clothes. And it wasn't a huge duffel bag, keep in mind. It was literally a medium duffel bag.
It's all it takes is a medium duffel bag, though, to be honest with you. I mean, it's. Listen. I used to work in a funeral home, so I know what it. How
I know,
how
and
small.
I'm telling you, I'm verifying on Brandon's behalf. I was a witness to him filling up his duffel bag when it was completely empty the whole time I was in the living room when he was doing this.
Yeah.
He didn't have a bedroom that he was staying in. He slept in the living room on the couch all the time. I have pictures of him sleeping on the couch with my dog.
Did dogs ever hit on that truck?
No, not at all.
How did they search that truck?
Yes.
Or did you sell that truck?
Do they still have your? Do they still have?
Wait a
your
minute.
video?
Did you sell the truck?
No, the truck was repoed.
Oh, how long after Michael went missing?
It was July. I don't know. It was like August 2nd or something like that. August 3rd, but it was repoed, and the detectives went and picked up the truck for evidence.
Okay.
How did it make Stacy feel to find out his lie true when law enforcement started excavating?
I don't know how to answer that. I mean, but at the same point,
I mean,
I don't have any information for this little boy. I want to. I want to get whoever it is that did this in trouble.
you don't want to get your ass in trouble.
I want
it's coming.
This little boy to come home to his mother.
Sorry, y'all. Got solar flares tonight.
There's not a day that goes by that I don't get up in tears. I don't get up wishing that this little boy would be found for his family. Like,
You didn't have a wash machine at your house?
We had a washing machine at our house, correct?
So why did you go to his mom's house?
Brandon just said that he needed to go to his house anyways to get new clothes.
But that
So
doesn't
he
make
was just
sense.
going to do his. You're right, it doesn't. But that's what Brandon said.
If it doesn't make sense, it's not true.
So what it sounds like, just personally to me, is if you're putting the pieces together and you take, he's got a duffel bag, dogs hit at your house, dogs hit at his house. It sounds like he used that duffel bag for something else.
I'm personally telling you and everybody on here, like I said just a couple minutes ago, I watched him
So full of
put
shit.
everything from an empty duffel bag, like the duffel bag was empty. There was nothing in it at the start. Nothing.
Oh, so he
him
didn't
look-
take he didn't take any clothes out of there?
N-
There wasn't a pile of clothes at the house, or he didn't swap stuff
No,
out?
that's what I'm saying. No, you're just missing what I'm saying. Yes. When
Okay.
he first came staying with us, he emptied the duffel bag. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
When he loaded the duffel bag, it was again empty. There was nothing.
Where would he
in it,
put his Where did he put
absolutely.
his clothes? You have a dresser at
On
your
the
house?
side of the couch. On the side of the couch.
Instead of leaving them in the bag.
Correct.
I mean, he must have been in jail way too long.
He's done a few jail times. Correct.
So he last time I checked, Brandon was in Montana, but he may be actually lurking around Idaho right now. Took clothes from your house that you had a perfectly good washer and dryer from and drove it, where's the bag? 30 minutes away to use his mom's washer.
Correct. Why? I don't know. But
I
we
don't
also were at a point with Brandon where we were just like, want to argue with him. Brandon was unreasonable a lot with us.
Yeah.
He owed us so much fucking money. I mean, for everything we've helped him pay his phone bill multiple times, helped him with his car insurance when he had his car
Yeah, I know where Adrian is.
up and running.
And did law enforcement, do they have this bag?
I don't know. I again have not talked to the detective since November of 2022.
Has anybody threatened you? That's a part of this?
I mean, I received multiple things on Messenger, but I don't even respond to them.
Well, I'm
I
talking
didn't-
about from like Adrian or
Oh
Brandon.
no, I
or
don't. I
Sarah.
haven't talked to Adrian. I haven't heard from Brandon. I haven't heard. Sarah called me a couple times, trying to get me to stay with her, and I'm like, oh, I'm not.
Do you suspect her?
I don't. I have never seen. I would never think that Sarah would have something to do or do something like that. No.
Well, that's a lot of people though. That, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but it's his wife. I mean, I get that. I get, no, you don't want that, but so
Trust me.
does she wear the pants?
I have no reason to throw Sarah. I have no reason not to throw Sarah under the bus. I would throw her.
Yeah, you kind of do. You kind of
this is
do
your
because
life.
if you have any knowledge at all, it's
Oh no,
it's
no.
expressed
That's
after
what I'm
the
saying.
fact.
If I had any knowledge at all, I would have been the first person with no hesitation to
Gotcha.
let law enforcement know about any information I knew about him.
Right.
Like I told that in every video, I told the cops that. I said, look, any information, if I had any knowledge, forehand knowledge, I would have been the first to tell you guys. Anything I knew. I was honest with them, just like I'm being honest here. I told them the same exact thing that I'm telling everybody on my.
Oh, the bull rider thing. I don't have the thing where he says his black. Stacy says that his testes were crunched, so he cannot produce children, swimmers, which is the absolute. I mean, Darwin for this one. That's all I got. Thank you, Lord.
My lives. There's nothing, not one thing that has changed.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, after you tell a story so many times, and it has been a while, I don't know if there are discrepancies or not. I've seen a couple of them, but I do know that there are a couple discrepancies.
Brandon's been pulled over twice in Idaho recently and also tried to turn in insurance info that got denied. He had a court, yes, but I believe it was changed. Okay, I knew that's what we were talking about. Like he had a court date, I think it was yesterday, but I don't know
Discrepancies, but
came up
what
with
you've told here, I mean, seems it seems like you're kind of walking us through what happened, but you're
Exactly.
leaving out the part
Right.
of,
Exactly.
well, look, there was obviously something, at least with those two going on, Brandon and your wife. If she agreed to drive him to his mother or to his mother's house to do laundry for God knows what reason, why he's taking his clothes out of his duffel bag, setting them next to the couch. Where, like when he walked in to stay with you guys, where did he set? He brought that duffel bag with
Hold on
him.
a minute. Hold on a minute. He said in his interview, he said that he was just spending the night with you.
No, Brendan stayed with us on multiple nights.
Well, in
I
his
mean, he stayed with us for months.
interview, he said
we got an
he has
alert.
just spent the night with you guys that night.
No,
Yep.
he is completely wrong. That's one
Yeah, I'll be going live.
of the reasons
1 o'clock.
he owes us so much money. He's in debt with us over $1,000. He
Well,
agreed to pay us rent
He's
for
called.
staying with us.
He said that, and this is his words, Stacey. It's not mine, but he said you were a nice guy, but you were a serial liar, is what he said. That's his words.
No. My point is this. I'm the one that's provided timestamps of that night in question.
Mhm.
Where's Brandon's timestamps? He's very capable of finding some way or somehow to log into his old emails to find pictures of videos that were timestamped that night.
But if you, I agree. All right, guys, I'm going to end it here. We're not going to stop until we find Michael Joseph Vaghan, and that's that. He is coming home. He is coming home, and 4 of you mother chickens are going to prison. Tick tock. You guys have taken a child that deserved to live a long, full life with his family, his friends, his community, his world, and you took it, you evil son of a bitches. And I hope all 4 of you rot in the lowest part of hell. Thank you all. I am very emotionally involved in this case. This Summers case, Quentin's case. I will try to never get this close to a case again. But sometimes you just can't help it. All right, guys. Love you all. Love you, Brandy. Love you, chat. Thank you, mods. Thank you, members. Thank you, donors. Thank you all for being here. Every single one of you. Hit the thumbs up. We need this to get out. Keep Michael's name out there. Summer's name. Quentin's name. I'll be down in Savannah the end of June. Trial starts. Leilani, it's your turn. All right, guys. I'll be live here in a little bit, probably in an hour or two. I'll be talking more. So it's the weekend, Friday into Saturday. Thank you all for joining me. God bless each and every one of you, except those who abuse children, hurt them, unalive them, or animals, or anything that can't fend for themselves. Those of you can go to hell.